Yusuf Mehdi is the Corporate Vice President and Consumer Chief Marketing Officer of Microsoft. In this conversation with Lalit Kejha, he discusses Microsoft's response to the new AI-powered Bing. This is a New India Abroad video.
What kind of response or feedback that you have received so far?
Yeah, on Bing as a whole, broadly. So I would say that I would sort of bucket the feedback in a couple of areas. First is on the most important thing, which is how is Bing is a better version of search than today's search engines. We have over 70% people giving it a thumbs up with the in-product feedback. So we have in the product. So the feedback is overwhelmingly positive on people prefer it as a new way to search, not just the answers, but the ability to chat and search. And that's an important thing because it marks a difference between us and Google. Google is trying to say that the chat has nothing to do with search, that they're separate products. We think they're one integrated product. So that feedback has been very positive. Second thing is in chat, we got a lot of feedback about people wanting to use it for more than just search. They want to do social entertainment, if you will. They want to be able to talk to the AI chatbot. There early on, we had it unlimited chat sessions. Sometimes the model could get confused, but it got very creative. So we made a bunch of changes to address that. We limited the number of chat sessions initially to 6, and now we've been rolling them out. In fact, just today, we've now expanded it to 20 chats in one session, 200 in a day. So we've really now kind of re-enabled that. And we introduced new modes. So you can choose to chat with it in a creative mode, where it is much more colorful, or you can be much more precise if you want to get a factual answer. So that's been the big feedback. The other one is we still continue to improve the factual accuracy of answers, because while it can be very creative, there are still areas where we can do a better job. Things like math questions, things like searches about individual people. We're still doing more work there. But as a whole, the feedback has been very positive.
What's the challenge you are facing right now after your February launch?
Well, the biggest thing is just scaling it as broadly as we can. There is so much demand for the new Bing and the new AI capabilities. The new AI capabilities, that they require these supercomputers to run, of which we have a lot dedicated to Bing, but there's still a finite amount of traffic, and there's so much demand for the new Bing in terms of creating images or searches. So scaling it has been, I would say, near term. I wouldn't call it challenge per se, but as a thing we're trying to continue to optimize and get better so we can get as many people as possible to use it. I would say that's probably the one at the top of the list.
About your India experience, India is a country of multiple languages. Its official language, which you see on the Indian currencies, is more than 20, around more than 2 dozens. Is it also in multiple languages, and how is your experience over there?
Yeah, so one of the great things about the new Bing is because we're using what's called a large language model as part of the AI, we can do so much of a better job in terms of providing foreign language answers and responses. So just from the get-go, we already do a much better job. Like I said, we're pretty much in all of the languages out there. We do a better job as well in India because of that. As you mentioned, there are a number of dialects and there are a number of different languages. I haven't checked every single one, but I think we're doing a much better job in India because of the new AI.
In terms of number of users or searches that is coming out of India, can you give me some figures for that if you have top of it?
Yeah, I don't have specific numbers that we want to share. There are things that come up, but like I said, it is a top 3 market for the Bing preview. So of all the markets, India is one of the top 3 most popular. And that's a combination of both the reach in it there, but also the usage in the Indian market. And then, as I mentioned, it is the top market for image creation. And the Indian market is very active. They're using many of the new features that we've launched.
Wonderful. In terms of users there in India, right? What are the things that you have India-specific planning to roll out in India?
Well, some of the things we just announced last week is, like I said, is these things called knowledge cards and stories. This is something very unique we do that Google doesn't do, where when you do a search, we can now give you a much richer answer of what that looks like. We can give you, for example, 5 images of the thing you're looking for. So that if you're searching, for example, for, as I mentioned, Kiara Advani, we can give you the actor and we can show you various images in the Knowledge Card, a lot of information. So we're automating particular answers for the Indian market for the top searches, whether that's actors or or movie stars, or whether it's top news in India or top travel sites in India. We're doing a lot of those special cards for India.
Tell me, based on experience, is the regular search is going to be obsolete in coming months and weeks or years, replaced by this kind of search or prompt? And second question is, how is it different from Google search, which they have also brought in, right?
So a couple different things I'd say. So this will be a longer answer. First, when we think of search today, I would say, look, search is still a magical tool. It's still a phenomenal way to people find. But in the data, what's happened over the 2 decades since the introduction of search, people are using search to do more things than it was intended to do. Initially, it was intended to help you find a website, right? So you had to renew your driver's license. You want to go to the right government website. Now people are trying to use Google and Bing to do things like plan trips or actually answer complex questions. A simple question like what's the stock price or what's last night's cricket scores, the search engines do a good job. But if you say, hey, can this couch fit in my small living room or fit in a certain car? Today's search engines can't do it, but Bing can do it now with the new AI. And so by our math, half of all the searches today are not really getting a good answer. That's billions of queries every day. So one of the things that we've made progress with Bing is we're now able to answer those questions, many of those questions that Google cannot do, because we're using chat to help refine, because we're using AI to help answer the question. Google has taken a different approach so far. So they have a very separate chat product called Bard that's different from Google search. They haven't done any of the AI work in Google search. We've brought that right in. So we have a much better offering now for people. And we think that is the future of bringing search and chat and creation together. And that's why our vision is so different than their vision, and why I think, search has changed and will change. It's not going away. Just like when television came into existence, radio didn't go away, but TV got a lot more excitement. Same will happen here. The new capabilities of AI, of chat, of answers, those are now increasingly exciting because they're helping answer questions that search didn't do. And with Bing, we're completely unique in the leadership in that today.
How is it going to impact the media industry, the news that's being created? Do you see any changes coming up based on experience?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do think so. So a lot of how the news industry has worked with search today is that there's a very delicate balance of, you do great journalism like yourself, then someone searches for the latest news, let's say in Israel something happened, and then there might be a snippet of information, and then I click on it to go to the story. Now with AI and with chat, you can get even more of a clear answer, but not necessarily the article or the great reporting. So that will change a little bit. What we're doing is we're providing links now to drive more content and more traffic to people. And so I think what will happen is I think we'll see more traffic go to news agencies and new publishers because of what we're doing in Bing to help better get the answer, but it will change the advertising model. We think there'll be fewer ads that will be more relevant and have higher return.
Can you give us a little bit more description about how it's going to change the advertising model?
Yeah, so today in Bing, in search, you know how it works. There are algorithmic answers on the left, and usually on the right or the top of the page are the ads. In chat, we get rid of all of that extra information. It's just you ask a question, you get an answer. What we do in Bing that's pretty unique relative to other people who are in the AI space is we actually footnote and provide citations to where we got that information. So you can hover and see in general, hey, was this a news agency or was this a particular website that helped provide the source of that? And if you click on that, you can go to the web page. We do that uniquely. Many sites don't do that. We're also going to put advertising in those links. And then we're looking to share the revenue of that advertising with the publisher. So whether it's the news site or a content publisher. And in fact, we're talking to our publisher partners now about how to make that happen. So that's what I mean is in the chat, you'll probably see fewer ads than you see on the search results page, but those ads will be more targeted, they'll be more relevant, and they'll be more valuable for the publisher and the advertiser.
So what would be your message to the publishers industry, especially the small scale city town newspapers, right?
Yeah. Well, so I think we have a great message for the small city publishers, which is that we will be able to bring more traffic and drive traffic to those publishers. We're also going to create more competition. So right now it's pretty much a Google only world. And so, not as much is done for the publishers. Now, because Bing with the new AI capabilities is now much more competitive, there's now more competition to get those publishers to want to put their content and have it show in search engines. And therefore I think they can get more value. And we intend to bring that new value and bring more of that traffic to them. That's what we're doing with Bing, and you don't see that with Google Bard.
You seem to be very excited and confident about taking Google search head on.
Well, look, I think we're a very small player. We're not confused about that. Google is still the very dominant player, but I do think it's quite clear now. We have a very differentiated point of view. We have a much better product, and we're willing to be much more collaborative with the industry to grow share. And I think we can grow share. Look, the bottom line is it's a very big market. 1 point of search share is worth $2 billion of revenue. Just 1 point of search share. So we don't have to change the entire game to make real progress for everyone in the industry, and that's why we're excited.
Do you think there could be any regulatory changes? There needs to be some regulations in this for the Chat GPT and the search? I'm not sure about that, but I'm just asking.
I think there's always a role for every party to play a role. Certainly, it starts with Microsoft. It starts with the search industry to do a better job with the products, to make sure that we're bringing competition, that we're benefiting users, publishers, all the smart questions you're asking, right? It's on us to do that. But then I think there is a role for government and regulatory to make sure that there's fair competition, that people are benefiting, that privacy is being properly protected. So I do think there's a role for regulation, but I think it starts with the companies like ourselves to bring that innovation, to move quickly, to bring all that value to people and to publishers.
Can this technology, methodology, and search how this can be used for good governance and the government's providing public services, right?
Yeah. So I very much think that this new Bing search and AI can help. It'll help businesses, it'll help governments, it'll help many things. In fact, it gets better when you train it on the data of an institution, or in this case, the government. It gets better for those use cases. In fact, we announced about 2 weeks ago our business effort with AI, which was the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And there we showed examples of how training it if a company took it and trained it on its data, it can make its workers and access to its information much more powerful while protecting all the privacy of that company. We can do the same thing for governments.